Coming in at number 10, I have Elwood Stray, and I recently just discovered this band. Between the new year, I was looking for new music since I was listening to the same 2025 albums, trying to decide which albums were in my top rankings, and then I came across Elwood Stray after the calendar year had already ended. But I listened to a lot of their back catalog, and it was quite impressive. And then a lot of the new singles that are coming out are apparently a part of a new album called Descending, which is supposed to be coming out Friday, January 23rd. So that's pretty excited. I'm really looking forward to hearing the new material, the new full album in full, and then making more of a justification on where I think they can end up. But listening right now, I think they only have one album out currently, but listening to the new singles, like I said, I think they have a lot of potential as a band. I would love to see them live, but currently they are co-headlining in Germany with a German band called Our Mirage. So I have no idea if or when they will come to the United States, or if I'll ever be able to see them live. So I have no idea on how they are performing live, which is a lot, and what is going to make bands in this list succeed is how they perform live. So I can't speak on how they perform live, but what I have heard online, their music is amazing. Coming in at number 9 is the band called What Lies Below, and they are also a smaller band. They have released one album, Darker Colors, in 2024. They have plans releasing a new album this year, I believe, but no details are confirmed. I looked to see if they're touring, and currently they're not on the road. I'm assuming they're looking to put out their new album and then announce a tour. I was hoping I could see them live, but I don't know when or if that'll happen anytime soon. Considering what their future plans are with the new album and new tour, I have no idea, but it'll be nice to follow them and see what happens in their near future. Coming in at number 8 is Kingdom of Giants, and now I recently just discovered this band maybe a day or two before recording this, so I really don't know anything like in terms of what their future plans are. I discovered their new EP, Burning Chrome, that came out in 2025, and that was a great EP and made me a huge fan. I looked to see what their tour schedule is like, and I don't see any plans for a tour or an album this year, so I really don't know what they're doing or what their situation is. It would be nice to see some of these smaller bands out on the road more, but like I said, I don't know any background situation or details of what's going on in their lives. So coming in at number 7 is Monument of a Memory, and I think these guys have huge potential with their latest EP, Cynical Savior, that came out in 2025. Again, I don't know if they have any plans for releasing music this year in terms of a new album or anything. They are also not on tour right now, so I don't know what their situation or plans are either. I feel like I'm just a broken record at this point. Like the first 4 bands have all released some kind of album or EP recently, but none of them are touring, and if they are, it's on the other side of the world. So it sucks, but it is what it is. I think all 4 of these bands that I have talked about are amazing, have great potential. It just sucks that they don't have any tour plans that you can go see them live. It is what it is, but that's where we're at for right now. Alright, coming in at number 6 is a band that I know a lot more about, and it's Johnny Booth. Now, I'm a huge Johnny Booth fan and advocate for their success. I've been talking about them on this channel since last year, and they are not new to the scene, and they're a US-based band. They're from the New York area, so it is a lot easier to see them live, and they are constantly touring. Honestly, my biggest worry is Andrew, the vocalist. He has a very aggressive scream style that I personally like, but the risk of them and their aggressive touring schedule is his voice getting blown out and some serious injury that could happen to that. They are an independent band, so it does take a lot more for them to set things up. They don't have a huge machine behind them. They have to do everything independently with their own knowledge and resources. So their album that hooked me was Moments Elsewhere, that came out in 2024. So that came out 2 years ago now, which basically you would hope that in the second year they would release the new album. They have been working on some new material, obviously, as they put out a single in 2025. I believe it's called Get Well Soon. But with them being independent and them touring all of last year and the year before supporting Moments Elsewhere, I don't know if they've had time to fully take a break and write the new material that is required for the new album? I'm hoping they have, but if not, I think they might take a break for most of this year to write the new album and put it out. Like I said, they are independent, so they don't have as many resources as everybody else. So I kind of cut them some slack for taking longer to release things. But in the meantime, they are either touring aggressively or making music. So they just came off the Better Lovers tour, and then before that, I don't remember what tour it was, but I believe it was with We Came as Romans. So all of 2025, they were basically touring, like I said. And you can kind of see some videos online of the vocal performance and his voice getting a little shout out. And I'm hoping that he's okay and that he's able to make a full recovery and take care of his voice and preserve it, and that he doesn't have any injuries in the long term, because I think they have some serious potential. So that is my number 6, Johnny Booth. Coming in at number 5 is Silent Planet, and now I've read their name a lot and I get them confused with Silent Theory, and I feel like there's a lot of silent band names. So Silent Planet kind of got lost in the mix. I feel like I've read the name and just never took a deep dive into their discography until recently. But they have been putting out some recent singles, or if it's an EP, I'm hoping it's a full release album with Invent Animate. I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong. I think it's Invent Animate. But they have been collabing on a bunch of tracks that have come out recently, and I think they are amazing. Unfortunately, I don't know what their tour schedule is. The only thing they have on their schedule is Download Fest and Incarceration. So regardless on which side of the planet you are on, you can see them at a festival if you are truly interested in doing so. I'm thinking they might release an album this year and then announce a full tour schedule would be my guess. But they straight rip, so check them out. Silent Planet. Coming in at number 4 is Alt, and now this band has gotten a lot of praise online, which is originally why I checked them out. And I'm honestly not the huge biggest fan of their discography. I don't think they're bad, but I don't think they're amazing by any means. I do think that they deserve more attention and followers than they currently have. Their release From the New World came out in 2024, and I think that is honestly a pretty solid release to check out. They are currently on tour with Unprocessed and Midwinter, which I have no idea who those bands are either. So hopefully this year they can secure an undercard spot on one of these bigger metalcore tours, and I think they have the potential of definitely working their way up, because as right now I feel like they just need more mainstream eyes on them. Coming in at number 3 is Via Nova, and their huge album Hit It was their debut album that came out last year. Everybody seems to be obsessed with it, and that style of music is just really not my favorite, so it wasn't like on my radar. I enjoyed it, I listened to it, but personally I think online the speculation seemed a lot more hot for them than what it is in my head. But it looks like they're picking up a lot of steam, and once they start touring and releasing some more music, I think they have the potential of blowing up compared to what happened to their first album. They changed genres so much too. I think they'll be able to capture a wide net of people and audience members. They are going on tour this year, and they are overseas with Novelists, and then they will eventually come back over to the US, where they're touring with Thornhill, 156 Silence, and Fox Lake. Now, on that bill, they are the opener, so they will have to earn their chops when it comes to the live performance. But if it's the reactions based on anything of their latest album that came out, I'm sure they'll be fine, so best of luck to them. Coming in at number 2 is one of my personal favorites. It's 156 Silence, and their famous album for me was People Watching in 2024. Now this album kind of was a change from the rest of their discography with more singing aspects, and honestly I think it's their best work up to date. And as I'm making this, they are currently in the studio working on their next album to release this year, and they have been touring relentlessly. They were touring with Fit for a King in the US, and now they're currently overseas with them, and then they will plan on coming back to the US touring with Thornhill, Fox Lake, and Via Nova. So it's kind of wild how hard they're going at it. and they don't really take any breaks. Business wise, they're very smart guys as well. They live stream their shows on Twitch. They sell their own merch. They don't hire a lot of outside people to run their stuff. And I think, just looking at them, I think they have the biggest chance to blow up if the music stays consistent. They do everything right from a business standpoint musically, and the music's good, and I think it's unique, so I don't think it's ever really going to be a doubt that they're going to be huge players in this game. Coming in at number 1 is Downswing, and now I'm really late to the Downswing party. Their 2025 album, And Everything Was Dark, is a banger. And I don't know why it wasn't coming up on my radar until 2026, but I listened to it in full, and it's just amazing. It would have been on my top 10 albums of 2025 if I would have heard it in time. But currently they're touring overseas and then Canada, followed by a spring US tour with Sylosis and Bleed From Within and Life Cycles. So they have been touring pretty aggressively, just released the new album. And honestly, they are the most popular on this list so far, so it's really no doubt in my mind that their success is going to keep growing. Like I said, I just discovered them recently, so I'm sure there's a lot of people who's going to catch on. And they have a really fresh sound in a scene that's very crowded already, and so I think that's really not a question. It's just really sky's the limit for them. That concludes my top 10 list of my top 10 artists that I think are going to blow up. Now, this wasn't my top 10 in order of the way I personally like these bands. This is just in the top 10 when I was scrolling through YouTube of their monthly listener subscriber count. So that is how it was ranked. I'm not sure in the video if I put the ranking, like if I'm showing you the actual number or if I'm just showing you the band picture or whatever. So I figured I would tell you in the outro regardless. So that's how they were ranked, but regardless, I think all 10 of these bands have a tremendous amount of success in their future, and I think it's just a matter of time. I think it's crucial for all of them to tour and not hire a bunch of outside people. And like I said earlier, 156 Silence is probably the best example of this, being creative while also finding your own lane and doing it all yourself business-wise. It's kind of all the key factors to me in what you see a lot of these bands blowing up. If you can't do it like overnight success where you're like a sleep token, you have to grind it out and do the more traditional path of release an album, tour, and kind of grow your name more organically. Or you can try to do it through social media or different tropes. But a lot of the bands I named are basically just your standard looking band, performing band, and they're only going to get there through hard work and dedication. And I think they're all fully capable, and I fully expect them all to be there someday. So this was just my list. I really just wanted to make this video to reflect at the end of the year and kind of see the progress that they have all made and kind of the projections and the predictions to see if we were right at the end of it all, which is kind of personally selfish, but I don't care. I like all these bands in different ways. They're not by any means my favorite, but I think they all have tremendous success in the future. But anyways, if you watched this far into the video, I appreciate you as always, and I will see you in the next one.